Well, I'm in the bar of the St John's Hotel in Chinatown in London, and for a long time Chinatown and Soho used to be real haunts for artists, and they're kind of not anymore, except that at the moment the hotel bar has been invaded by works by Sarah Lucas. Very typical works in some ways, because they're made out of old tights and kapok, buckets and garden furniture. And not only is the work here, but so is Sarah Lucas in her pyjamas. She's staying here for the week, making work in her room, having little audiences. It's a kind of 60s happening thing.
I'm doing an artist in bed week at St John.
It's not a John and Yoko thing.
Not really. You have an idea and you suddenly realise it's got loads of associations, but
Yeah.
they come after.
But in fact, there are three of us here.
And this is Margot.
I don't know if I should be doing this really.
Yeah, it's okay.
But you've been making things using tights and stockings, and is it kapok inside?
Yeah,
it is, isn't it? It looks like almost like alabaster, and it's almost refracts the light as well.
Yeah, that's the amazing thing about it, isn't it? It's very versatile.
I feel like I'm regressing somehow to a childhood's infant state almost.
I often think that's where a lot of these things come from. You know, I've never really wanted to be telling that much of a story with making sculptures, or even being autobiographical particularly. I always think, actually I'm quite objective. But sometimes when I look back on things I've done, I think they do actually really relate to quite personal things that I haven't even realised myself.
Things you'd forgotten,
yeah,
buried inside.
Yeah.
So do you think there's a sort of psychoanalytical dimension to what you do?
Yeah, I do, but I'm not always the first person to realise it. I always think of the sculptures as kind of characters, and actually that's when I'm most usually satisfied that something is done or what it should be, or finished, if you like.
Yeah.
Because it becomes a very vivid sort of person to me. And I've always thought I partly even started making things to keep myself company. And that's the nice thing about having the sculptures that are downstairs in the bar, because they are figures, and it's sort of, it's nice to sit in there with them, and they have a funny interaction with other people in the bar.
So you bought the sculptures in, and then you thought...
I thought, well, I might as well stay. And so I got a pair of pyjamas, so I'm sort of sorted, but I've only got sort of limited outdoor wear.
Can you work anywhere? I mean, do you...
I can actually, really, yeah.
No.
I've never really had a very proper studio. I've had studios that I've shared with other people. I've got a small studio now in Suffolk in the garden, more of a shed. But I tend to be more on the kitchen table or wherever I am. I sort of work in bursts anyway. I'm not someone who gets up in the morning and every day and goes to the studio or something. I sort of have a mad run of activity, and then I just do other things for a bit.
And then you sit back and wonder, what was it I did? What was that all about?
Yeah, yeah.
So these sculptures of hers, which kind of literally hang over the bar tables, and they're like mobiles. They're like people, naughty people showing their bums and their nipples, or possibly their other things. And one of the things about Sarah Lucas is she's got a fantastic feel for materials. It may not be clay or stone or alabaster. You know, it's old buckets and pairs of tights all knotted together with these bits of garden chairs and wire. It's all very ad hoc, and make it up as you go along, and it has this lovely flair and elan and vitality. They're lively in the most traditional way that sculpture can be. They're full of life, perhaps too much life. Cheers.